Hello and welcome to the match review brought to you by the Scarf Bagara War team. I'm Jimmy Harmer and I will be hosting tonight's show, joined by Dan, Dave and Rolo. Thanks for joining me on this show, guys. We have a lot to talk about. We will be talking about, quite frankly, a bonkers game, 2-1 home win against Burton Albion, a game that definitely had it all, defensive frailties, a sending off, goal of the season contender, most likely, but most important of all, 3 points. So, Dan, you're going to do the honours and just take us through Dave's sort of changes or change for this game.
Well, yeah, just the one change up front. A bit of a surprise, I thought. Carl Wootton obviously going to the bench and Nathan Lowe in the starting 11 from the obviously previous game, which was Bradford. Was expecting a few more changes myself in what Dave was saying in his pre-match interview, especially around Brad Hill's obviously starting that game, and I expected him not to start and Joseph Aluru to come in for him, but he didn't. Lowe was the only one. Same formation, 3 at the back, 4 across midfield with your wing backs and Norwood and Mox in the middle, and then obviously Diamond, Mothers Hill playing behind that target man.
They certainly played it quite essential, certainly to begin that game, I thought, Dave. And Mothers Hill looked nice and bright. Obviously, he's had a little bit of an injury, hasn't he? So he's still working his way back into this team. We know what Diamond can do. But yeah, Mothers Hill, I thought, started the game pretty well.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Good stuff.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. All right for the time that he was on the pitch.
Yeah, it's a little bit unfortunate, but we'll come on to that, won't we? So yeah, first off, I was happy with how we started the game. I think for the first few minutes, but then it sort of went a little bit downhill quite quickly. But Burton seemed to have the measure of us, and we were struggling, I think, to sort of retain the ball. Lee, not a lot of quality sort of in the first half hour.
Yeah, it kind of felt like sort of a carry on from Bradford. We didn't want to play against the press. We wanted to just kick out up to Lowe, who's not a target man, and do that. We showed against Bradford that we can play through presses. So it was a very, very frustrating half, and we just kept giving the ball back and giving the ball back and then giving the ball back again, and just to be safe, we give the ball back again. And it kind of felt inevitable that they were going to score. To be honest with you, they were trying to get the ball down, they were trying to create chances, and it just didn't feel like we wanted to do that.
Do we think there's some tired legs out there, Dan? Or is that not an excuse at this time?
Yeah, it shouldn't be an excuse. Tired legs, tired minds. But like Rolo said, it just seemed that we just a continuation from that Bradford second half. We were expecting a bit of response and stuff like that. But this is the problem. Burton would obviously done their homework. They've seen what Bradford did, probably the second half of Leyton Orient. And to be honest, they set a game plan to get in our faces, to put the press on, to try and bully us. And at that point, when they scored, they were definitely I thought they were definitely worth the lead, Burton, when they scored.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, %. Any blame attached to Adai there? Because I've not actually seen the official highlights of the game yet, and in fact, I've not seen any highlights of the game yet. To be honest, I've been too busy up ladders today to see any highlights. But the first goal, obviously the goal that we conceded in the railway end, so I couldn't really get a great view of it, but it looked like a free header to me. What did you guys think?
Yeah, free header. Fantastic save by Adai, I must admit, to start with. Some people might say, well, why didn't he kick it away? He's gone really low down, shoveled it out, and then all the county defenders, including Norwood, stood there, watched it, and then watched the two Burton players, in fairness, basically push the ball over the line when Adai's on the floor. It's slow reactions. Why is the Burton player managed to get a free header on the ball is another issue for me, but it's not me. There's no blame on Adai at all on that. It's a great save. He needs his defenders, A, to not allow that Burton player to get the free header in the first place. But once he's made that save, he needs backup. He needs players coming in and helping clear that ball.
It was
Everyone's
another
good
soft
there.
free kick, wasn't it? I mean, we gave another soft free kick in a similar place that we just keep on giving free kicks, just on the edge, sort of just past the edge of our box, in that sort of our left channel, just inviting a nice cross in, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't even say that. I mean, listen, it wasn't a bad ball, and it wasn't like he's just taken out our entire defence with this ball in the box. It was just really, really bad defending. The lad's unmarked. No one's picking him up. He gets it down, and then we stand there out with our hands in the air, like, "Is he not offside? Is he not offside?" And then no one reacts. I don't. Yeah, I mean, you taught out, you play to the whistle. So very, very basic.
Yeah. I've been impressed with Connolly's sort of last ditch defending, and he's got quite a few sort of good reviews. But he's definitely not our first choice central defender in that back three. Obviously, we brought in Hoskinen for that role, and we've been unlucky that he's sort of got injured. I just wonder whether the number of goals that we are conceding this season, it is not a Dave Challoner type of side to be conceding 2 goals a game, which is what we have been doing. Obviously, only 1 in this game. But do we think maybe Connolly wouldn't be there if we had a full sort of complement of defenders, Dave?
I don't think he would. No, I mean he did. He came in last season, did a great job while Fraser was out injured, and can he do a job? Absolutely. Sometimes I suppose in a way, it's performance based, and realistically, he's doing a good job. So why would they change him right now? But if everybody's fit, I don't think he starts. No.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. He'll play his part during the season as he's done now, and he doesn't really let anybody down. And like you say, he defends all heart. But like you say, there is at the moment not just him, but the whole defensive unit. There is lapses of switching off, and I think Challen has mentioned this before in previous games that we're switching off. We're not doing the basics right, and that will not please Dave Challoner at all. So they have to get it out of their system very quickly. Otherwise, like I say, they're going to end up getting a lot of earache on the training pitch.
I mean, it's a very new back 3, back 5, I suppose, isn't it? So it's going to take time to gel, but we do look a little bit all over the shop at times when you're thinking, we just need to tighten up. But and for me personally, I don't like the 3 at the back. I prefer us when we play 4. I just think we look a lot more solid when we do that. It's just then how we use, the fullbacks, as it were, in terms of getting forward. That's what obviously Charlie wants, isn't it? So,
do you think though that the defense is getting more pressure put on them because them wing backs in the midfield aren't working as hard as what they need to, and then they're making that defensive back 3 a lot more vulnerable? Because I've said before, I think we miss that ball winner, dominant player in midfield at the moment. And I just think that defensive 3 are getting opened up in a bit. They're very vulnerable because of, like you say, the wing backs, players getting behind them and stuff like that. So what do you guys think?
I think the problem that you've got when you are playing that defensive 3 is that if the fullbacks or the wing backs, aren't doing their job properly, it means that those 2 sort of side central defenders have got a lot of pitch to sort of cover, basically. And then if they do have to sort of fill into the fullback position, they're getting pulled out of position. It then means there's more space in the box for. I mean, the amount of headers that we're conceding as well in sort of silly places as well is not great. I mean, just looking at the momentum graph for the first 25 minutes, as a tiny blue nipple for the first 25 minutes. And if people listen to this, you know that I like talking about my nipples on the momentum graphs. And unfortunately for us, it's a little blue one rather than a black one, which would have been for Burton. But the goal comes, and then we actually have we have our best sort of period of the game for the next sort of 4 or 5 minutes until, and I know Waggy calls him, that good-looking bastard Brad Hills, but he became pretty ugly on 31 minutes when he obviously gets himself sent off. And Dave was pissed off. I mean, obviously we've missed the first contact on the header, haven't we? So that must have been Connolly, but you can't be guaranteed to win that first header. But then Hills just switches off, maybe lets his guy run past him, and before you know it, he's just giving him a tug, isn't he? And unfortunately, it's a red all day long. What do you guys think? Would you have pulled him back? I mean, I know that you've got to think in a millisecond, 2-0 down potentially, or do you trust your keeper to make the save? Or I don't know. What do you think?
Pulled him back. I'd have shot him if he was going for on my goal. There's no way I'd let him through on goal. So I don't blame him for that. I'd have probably dived down or think, he pulled me, but no, I wouldn't really. But, listen, he's made a split-second decision. He's tried to recover what is a mistake. And again, we go back to it's a basic mistake. I mean, Hills is a fantastic centre half, but he's made a very basic error there by not covering in his mate. You've got to cover in the back every time when he goes up for an header, and it's like that. So yeah, it is what it is. To be fair, he's only, I mean, it is a red card, but there's not a great deal in it. The guy did make the most of it. I will just say that, you know what I mean, as soon as he got pulled, because I think he realised that he was going to get it. But unfortunately, it was a red card.
Yeah, I mean, he's gone from like 5 minutes of Hill's madness, isn't it? Because, a couple of minutes before the sending off, he could have, equalised, I think, Hills, and put the sort of ball in the back of the net. And like I say, a couple of minutes later, he's caught a little bit. He's took one, as he took one for the team. It's one of them ones, like I say, you just don't know. And I think the players, if he didn't touch him, 2-0 down, but you got 11 men on the pitch, do we get back into the game? Could it end up as a draw? It's a bit of a hard one. At the end of the day, he's a young lad. He'll learn from it. I think it was not something that he's actually thought about. I think it's just an instinct that he's pulled him back. I don't think footballers are that bright to think what they're doing at times. I think it's just more of an instinct than a reaction than actually a thought-out plan. But
yeah. So go on, Dan.
No, that's all right.
Yeah.
All
I was going to say is that obviously that forces Dave into making a couple of subs. So on 36 minutes, we bring off Nathan Lowe, who was feeding off scraps again, I would say. He looked busy. He tried to impose himself, but he didn't get, I think he had one shot maybe. And then we brought off Mothersill as well, potentially for a bit more pace and work rate, maybe.
I think it was more,
and Wootton.
It was more, I think, what Woots and Fevs offers off the ball. With 10 men at that point, everybody's going to work harder off the ball. And I think you see that straight away over that 90 minutes. What, all them Wootton haters, hopefully they saw what he actually does when he hasn't actually got the ball. And I think that was the difference between Lowe and Mothers Hill. And it's a bit of a shame, really, because, like I say, before the goal and the sending off, there was a low chance where Mothers Hill and Lowe really linked up well. Nice little 1-2s, and they did, without causing too much of a threat, but they did sort of look like they were linking up really well.
And we had that run, didn't we, from Mothers Hill that basically, it was like when you're in the school team and there was like one player who was just fucking brilliant and you just give it to him on the edge of your box and he just runs and runs and runs. That's what Mothersill did, didn't he? He basically took the whole team on and then he looks up, and I've just been concentrating on Mothersill's run. He looks up and there's nobody. I don't even think any of our players are fucking past the halfway line almost. There was nobody in the box for him at all. And I'm thinking, this dude has just run the whole length of the pitch with the ball and he's got no one to pass it to. What are you guys up to?
But the
They're
difference,
like 8 Burton defenders. Like,
but the
back.
difference between him and somebody like Kevin Cooper, who obviously went on to play in the Premier League and stuff like that, that Kevin Cooper would have got a throw in or a corner out of it. He'd have known he was going down an alleyway, a dead end, but he would have able to take that little moment to kick the ball out for a throw in off their player or a corner, where unfortunately Mothershill just hit it because he didn't have any other option or idea what to do.
Been a great goal.
Yeah, it would have been a great goal. But Lee, you got your wish, because we did move to a 4-4-1. Obviously, if anybody listened to the DC Dave Challoner match, what we're talking about, post-match interview with John, John was saying that the normal thing to do when you get a player sent off, apparently in the coaching manuals, is to move to a 4-4-1, and that's what we did, didn't we, Lee?
Yeah, and we looked a lot more solid at the back when we did that. In terms of doing it, but I think when he made the changes, we're bringing Wootton on and obviously Fevs, and then making the changes at half time. He'd set out his stall exactly what we were going to do, which was pump the ball long. Which I've no issue with that. If it's effective, it's effective. We did that quite a lot in the first half with Lowe, which wasn't effective. And you do that with Woods on there, it's going to be a bit more effective. So. We set out our stall very early, and I thought Diamond picked up a lot of loose balls, which is really good, because that's what you want, is Jack Diamond, the ball at his feet facing towards goal. So yeah, we looked a lot more solid as well.
But as you said there, we started winning the second balls. For me, that was one of the big issues in the first half. We weren't winning the second balls, and what seemed to be happening a lot of the time is Burton was allowing us to win the first ball, and then they were mopping up the second ball really, really quickly and tight, and we weren't getting them. And like I said, that was for me the biggest change in the first half to second half, is that we started competing for them second balls a lot more.
Do you think we should be concerned by how easy it is to beat us with just very straight balls over the top?
I wouldn't say concerned. I think it's something that Charlie's got to have recognised, that for some reason we're not dealing with the long ball at us, and given the players we've got at the back, is very surprising. I just think at the moment we've not quite got everything right in terms of with the two wing backs. In terms of it, because what we're giving the ball away in really bad areas of the pitch when the full backs are a little bit more advanced, and we're just getting carved open with it. So I think a lot of it's going to come about looking after the ball a bit better, so that we're able to get back in position when we do turn the ball over. But I believe in Charlie and Clinton to get that sorted in no time, because he doesn't strike me as someone who's going to allow that to continue to happen.
Yeah, I mean, we do know that the wing backs can work. We've seen it. We've seen it over the last 3 or 4 years that Dave, if he gets the right people, obviously Maka was just absolutely stunning in that position. And then, so we do know that can work. It's just, I do worry that we haven't quite got those people. Obviously, we've got injury to Edun. He looked really bright in the first, certainly in pre-season. Did he play the first game? Is that when he got injured? Yeah. He looked really bright in that game. And then obviously we're continually being linked with Dixon from Everton as well, who Steve of this parish saw a game week or so ago in full county gear. Did anyone see if Onyango was on the bench for Everton today?
I'm just actually looking at that. I was just thinking to myself, actually, was Onyango on the bench? So let's have a look. Because it wasn't a game of watch, so let's have a look on the substitutes bench.
I did listen to that game, and like David Moyes, he must have
he was on the bench for Everton. He didn't come off the bench, but he was on the bench for Everton on Yango.
Fair enough. But David Moyes, he must have done some sort of voodoo witchcraft or something for Everton to win that game, because Brighton were absolutely all over them. But there we go. Cool. Okay. Adai makes a good save at the end of the half as well. Again, O'Keefe was sort of beaten by his attacker, beaten for pace. Seeing it quite a bit, I think. Culminated in a hard low shot, which Adai saved either with his hands or his feet. I couldn't quite tell from the Cheadle end, but that certainly kept it at 1-0. So you got something to hang your hat on then, and move into the second half, I guess. Once Dave's been able to give them some instructions on how he wants them to line up. So let's play a short transition, I think, and then Dan, if you want to just start us off with the subs from the first, from halftime.
And we're back. Right. So yeah, a bit unlike the last two games, halftime came for us at the right time. I thought, Leyton Orient, it suited Leyton Orient. Bradford, it suited Bradford. For us, halftime came at. We needed halftime. We needed to get back in, sorts ourselves out. Obviously, he's made the two changes just after, obviously, the Hill sending off. He's made one more change at half time, which was Andrew coming on. And Aluru, I think, came on as well, didn't he? So there was two more changes at half time, with the two wing backs obviously getting hooked off. So yeah, with them definitely more gone into a stable back for the second half.
Yeah, I quite like him as well, like Danny Andrew. I like that little bit of experience he brings. Looking at him, he looks like he could play centre half as well. So if Pi ever gets injured, that left-sided side, we need to get him on a year contracts and just get that out of the way for him. Just give him a little bit of stability for the rest of this season as well.
I think the beauty with him is that he's obviously a left back, and he's comfortable defending. Dodgson's only young, isn't he? And he's obviously been given the brief to get as far up the pitch as you can. But obviously having Andrew there and then Connolly as right back did give us a much more solidity. And Burton, let's give them some credit for the way that they played in that first half. They looked really good, I thought. Very busy. They had massive XG in that first half, 2.38 XG compared to our 0.37. And they really should have been 2 or 3 goals up. But moving into the second, we started just putting our foot on the ball a bit more. I mean, Ollie Norwood, we just keep on saying how good this guy is. But without him in the team, and ignoring the goal that he scored, and we'll talk about that, without him in the team, I don't think we win that game. He dragged, I felt, that team through the second half. And to be fair to Moxon as well, that's probably one of his best halves for us as well. He took a real whack in the first few minutes of the half. Thought he might have to go off, to be fair. And I was thinking, shit, we've already made 4 substitutions here. But he gets himself up and he put in a really strong performance for me, Dave. And I just think that might be the turning point for him.
Mox, yeah, he did well, pretty much. Second half was miles better than the first, I would say. But yeah, he was decent, breaking up play and stuff like that in the second half. Yeah, it was very good.
Oh, someone's cat's wanting to say something. Is that yours, Lee?
Yeah, mine again. It's been a mad ass again.
Is it hungry? Have you fed it?
It's joking out. He's got an output food down, this cat. You have to stroke it in order for it to go and eat. They're fussy.
Okay, so Dan, I mean, Jack Diamond also started pulling a few more strings as well. I thought, whilst the first half he looked busy and ran into a few blind alleys, second half he started actually sort of linking up well with Woods, and I know Woods didn't score, but he laid that goal on for Diamond beautifully after amazing work from Norwood in midfield as well. How important was Wootton to us in that second half, mate?
Like I said, yeah, immense. I mean, not just for what he did with the ball, holding it up, keeping it, but the work that he does off the ball. And, that second half, the best way to describe it, you wouldn't have thought we were down to 10 men in that second half, because everybody was absolutely putting a shift in. That was a non-negotiable. They had to do it, and they did it. And even the point with Jack Diamond, how much space did he keep on picking up? Like I say, Burton were the ones with an extra man, but you'd have thought, well, the way Jack Diamond was picking up the space and stuff, you'd think actually Burton were down to 10 men and we had the extra man, because Jack Diamond was like our extra man.
Yeah,
Wootton occupies 2 though, doesn't he? That's the thing.
Yeah. I think Burton put a lot into that first half, didn't they? Because they looked really energetic that first half, and I don't know if because obviously I think they played Wednesday, didn't they, or Tuesday in that cup. They looked tired at that point. But I mean, if you're their manager, you kicking yourself about taking something or even beating us, on that day.
I think just as we probably did textbook how to play with 10 men, they didn't do textbook how to play against 10 men. They didn't move the ball quick enough until maybe the last 5 minutes of the game, when they actually started passing it to the wings to try and get that space. But certainly I think moving to that back 4 as well gave us that defensive solidity. So the way that they were trying to play in the first half with pumping balls forward just didn't seem to work for them anymore, because our defense got on top. And again, special mention to Ethan Pye as well. I don't think he's had the greatest of starts to the season, if I'm 100% honest with you guys. But that 45 minutes, I don't know whether he went down with cramp at one point. He was certainly holding his leg 2 or 3 times in that half. But he was absolutely brilliant, not to mention the one he saved off the line at the death. But so Jack Diamond's goal, supremely well taken. Some people have said the keeper should have done better, but he hits it so well across the keeper. I think it's just a great finish, and 1-1 game on, Dan, isn't it? At that point, you got 21 minutes left. We've got our tails up. We are down to 10 men, but I was pretty confident at that point.
It's a weird one, isn't it? Because at that point, I'm all thinking, I'd take a draw now. Being 10 men down, I'll take a draw now. But they didn't. I think they got the wind up. They're confident with the way they'd actually started and how they were playing before that goal. And they wanted to go on and get that winner. And we didn't let up really. So it was it was a good sort of like. It was a good moment, wasn't it? Where, like you say, we all were thinking, "Oh, let's end the game now," but they didn't. They wanted to go and get that winner.
So put your hand up then if you said when Norwood was placing that ball, he's going to ping this one in.
Nope.
My daughter did.
Say that. The lad in front of me turned around. He went, "He's putting this in the top corner here." I was like, "Well, if anyone can, it's him," but I'm not sure. And honestly, it's what he said to me. And then I jumped on him when we scored. So.
Yeah.
Ellis said to me, "Is he hitting this?" I went, "Nah, it's too far out, this." And then, well, I was clearly wrong.
How far out do you reckon it was? It looked
30 yards.
30, yeah.
30 yards, easy 30 yards.
Yeah.
Kieran showed me he's got one of these apps that shows the movement of the ball, and honest to God, it's straight. There's absolutely no movement on it whatsoever. Yeah. He's just hit it. He's never going to hit a dead ball like that ever that well.
But the weird thing about that goal is that the wall was there, 3-man wall. Cause like when I watched it back, I was like, okay, well, there couldn't have been a wall there. Maybe the keeper just decided not to put one there. The wall's there covering the other side. Keeper's actually stood on that post, and it just flies straight past him. So the power that must have been on that ball was frightening. And Dan, you told us before we came on the podcast that you've listened to this hitting the back of the net how many times?
Oh, it must be about 1,000. Obviously, we drove home after the game. Obviously, it was 10:30 by the time we got home. obviously just me and Toby in the car, and I've had to listen. If you've got teenagers with their mobile phone, you know what it's like when they're playing something on their phone. But literally, this is all I got for most of the drive home. I've listened to that ball hitting the back of the net must be about 1,000 times on the drive
we've listened
home.
to it 4 times, Dan, and I was getting annoyed after 2. So there we go.
I already wanted to shut my laptop.
Yeah.
I could have listened 2,000 more times. Don't worry, Dan. I'll start with you.
Okay.
No. So yeah, that was because there was no evening game, was there, last night on the drive home? So there was, wasn't there? There was Arsenal. We listened to Arsenal game on the drive home, but that was listening to that, and like you say, we tune into listening to Dave's post match as well. So yeah, but we know it's a lot. We know it's a long drive home, but we got home about just after 10:30 last night. But yeah, it was an enjoyable drive home. There's been plenty of times over the years where it's a miserable drive home after we've lost a game.
Cool. Okay,
Worst
so
thing, he only lives in Cheadle.
he just drove around like Portwood Roundabout like 2,000 times, so he could listen to that 1,000 times. Yeah.
To the ball at the back of the net.
Brilliant. Okay, so we still had 15, 20 minutes, including injury time, to sort of hang on. And okay, Adai made a decent save on 93rd minute. He pushed it out a little bit, maybe, and then their player whacked it against Ethan Pye, but I didn't feel too concerned. I think we played it out relatively well. What do you guys think?
I wasn't screaming at the ref banging me watch going, come on!
Well, yeah, you sit in front of me, Lee, so sort of 2 rows in front and about 10 to the right. And because Chloe's eye line is more sort of looking that way across at you, she was saying, "Oh, Lee's tapping his watch again. He's tapping his watch again."
It's got to be done. That's the only way the referee's going to know. You know what I mean? And if I tap the watch and go, "Come on, son, let's get on with it." Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, Dave, you might be able to answer this one better. Goalkeepers now, because obviously Ellis is a goalkeeper, your lad. Are goalkeepers now trained to push the ball away more, to push it away from danger? Because it seems that that's what Corey likes to do. Instead of trying to keep hold of the ball or bring it into his body, he's one of them goalkeepers that always seems to like to push it away, sometimes into more danger, sometimes away from danger. But yeah, I just, is that something that's modern goalkeepers do?
Well, if it is, it isn't part of Ellis's training that he used to have, because he used to go specialist goalkeeper training just for Keepers Manchester, and they always taught them primarily catch the ball, because if you catch it, anything that happens after that can't happen because you've got it in your hands.
Yeah.
So, but it's reactions in it, I suppose. It's just one of the things where, dependent on how the shot comes in at you and stuff like that, is kind of how you choose to deal with it. And primarily, you always want it to go width-wise or out for a corner or whatever. But I guess that a guy's got it in his head that as long as he makes the save, realistically, you should have enough cover around you to get rid of the ball. And whether that's something that he needs to work on with his defence or not, I don't know. I mean, a guy at that height as well, I would like him to command his box a little bit more. And at times yesterday, he was getting some right pelters from lower in the Cheadle. I mean, we sit right behind the net, so people do notice more in that section about what he's doing, because it's essentially right in front of you. And at times, I think with Corey as well, he's very much a confidence player. And if something goes wrong for him, rather than him sort of brushing it under the carpet and just going, right, that's it, it's done, get on with it, he doesn't. It seems to fester in his head.
Yeah.
I don't know if any of you guys have noticed that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
But
there was a period in the game yesterday, or was it a kick that he did? It was really disappointed with, and he berated himself for about 2 minutes. He picked his water bottle up, threw it down.
He's still doing it. He's still doing it. 3 or 4 more phases of play, and it's still in his head. He needs to just forget about it. But I think he did get a couple of pelters off Charlie as well. I read somewhere. I mean, not that I know. I sit far too far away to hear what Charlie's saying to him and stuff. But I know at one point he sort of looked over to the bench, must have heard what he said, and then give him a sort of a thumbs up type of thing. But he just seems sometimes like a guy who's 6'7". If he's running out at any player, they're shitting themselves. Why do they not do it a little bit more? I know, me too. If you've got a guy that big running out at you, you're not going to challenge him for a ball in the air because you're not going to win it. Half the time, he wouldn't even need to jump. But he's just, it's back to that same old thing from last season when he was going through that phase of getting loads of pelters and him just not commanding his area. I mean, shot stopping, sometimes you can say he's good. Sometimes he could probably do better. I mean, I want him to succeed, don't get me wrong. I really do, because, well, who wouldn't? He's your goalkeeper at the end of the day. Yeah. But, there's just some things about him that I'm not sure about, and whether or not that can be worked into him. But one of them, he definitely needs to just forget about what's just gone on and just crack on and concentrate on the next moment and getting it right in the next instance.
Do we think part of the problem is a bit like the person who comes in after Jim Gannon is never going to be liked? So the person who comes in after Ben, were they always going to be sort of cast as the villain, or not?
It's definite. It's definite something to think about, because when you think, you'll always hear people sort of say, "Oh, well, would Ben have done that?" Or whatever. And well, Ben's not there. It's him. Yeah. Whether or not you think he should be, Ben should be there or not. It's not our decision to make. And the guy that gets paid all the money to make the decisions thinks he deserves to be there, and you've just got to go with it.
Yeah. I mean, there is definitely a segment of the crowd that resent Corey being in goal, for sure. You hear it in the Cheadle end, and it's weird that the poor lad can't do right for wrong at times. There was moments in that game in the second half where he's got hold of the ball and he's slowing the game down, and the Cheadle end start getting on Corey's back, but they don't notice Norwood's showing hands up to Corey saying, slow it down, hold on to the ball. Norwood is telling him, hold on to the ball, let us all get into position before you move the ball. But the crowd don't see that, or certain people don't want to see that, and then just use it to chuck pelters at Corey.
I think the thing is, fans are always going to draw comparisons. They are, because Ben's been so successful. So you've got a measurable standard there to go off with goalkeepers. You say, well, actually, this guy's fantastic. And one of Ben's real strengths there is commanding his area. Because I'm with you on that, Dave. I think that's the one thing that stops him playing at a much higher level than this. For his height, I would expect him to come out and absolutely mow down anything in front of him to get that ball. Now, the problem that he's had is, if Ben makes a mistake in goal, and he's not infallible, he's made mistakes, Ben's got a lot of credit in the bank from many great games that he's had. And last season, Corey didn't really have that credit in the bank. I mean, I'm a very firm believer, not just in goalkeepers, but in footballers. You earn your mistakes in football by being a great player. It's like Ethan Pye. He's earned his mistake. When he makes a mistake, you go, it's Ethan Pye, you know what I mean? He's this, that, and he's earned that. He's got it in the bank. And I don't think Ed Adai really had that in the bank. And then that was it. Then people were straight on him, and it became like an excuse. And it kind of feels like when something's going wrong now, he's getting that. But for me, he's got a bit in the bank there at the minute. The Bolton game being one of them for a start, I thought it was absolutely fabulous.
He was.
Um,
You're right. Yeah.
So I think you just got to. He's very much a confidence key, like you said, and I agree with that as well. I don't think any good's going to come on from people throwing pelters at him. If you want to back him, get behind him. At the end of the day,
we're supporters. We're supposed to support.
Yeah. Exactly. People can forget about all this. Well, he should be clearing the ball. We want a goalkeeper that can play out from the back. That's what Challoner wants. So get used to it because that's what's going to happen. And I know it causes nervous moments. You're thinking, like that, and you're sort of going, like this. But the reality is that's going to be the way forward. That's what Challoner wants. So
it's modern day football, though, isn't it? Every keeper in every league all up and down the country is trying to emulate that.
Yeah. And you look. If we go up, we can't be pumping long balls at teams. And there's a certain team from North Wales that finding that out. You can't just pump long balls off and expect to win football matches. You've got to have a bit more about you. And I know there's a time to do it. And it's all about being effective. But Adai, in terms of what he does, is one of the best I've ever seen in terms of a goalkeeper. And it's going to be the way forward for us at one point or another, whether we like it or not.
Do we think this is also one of the other reasons why Dave does like the three at the back? Because it does allow you to build from the back maybe a little bit easier than a four at the back. I don't know. You've got that extra man there, and then you can put your wing backs when you're in possession.
There's an argument there for it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But same again, I think with Dave Challoner's side, I think he likes one of them defenders to be able to carry the ball out of defence as well. And when we play well and when we do well, what you'll see a player like Ethan Pye or Akil Wright at the time or whoever it is carry
that. To be fair,
we
saw that when he was on loan.
Carry that ball past the halfway line. When we do that, we're dominating the game. We then make up the extra man in midfield and we storming, but we're not seeing that enough yet this season.
But is that because, that worked really well in the National League. It worked really well in League Two. Have we not hit a point now where actually we're not the flat track bullies is a little bit unfair, but we steamrolled teams in those divisions when we had Stott's money. We've hit a point now, League One, where we've got teams like Cardiff and Luton, and I know they're not Luton absolutely doing that well, but some bigger sides, and you can't necessarily waltz through somebody's midfield like that anymore.
But it's about decision making and execution, isn't it? Because if you do it right, then you can. At the end of the day, it's man versus man, isn't it? In terms of doing it, and the ball moves, and if you execute what you're meant to execute, that's fine. I think one of the real problems is we've just been so sloppy at times with the ball. We've just not looked after it at all. We've made bad decisions where in terms of moving it, and we give it away in some really poor areas that leave us exposed. So I think you can play like you've got an identity, and Challoner has said that's our identity. That's what I want us to be. And while we will mix it up, and we can play effective football, which is the best way to be, being able to play different ways. He wants his team to get the ball down. He wants his team to be able to play through teams. So, it's something we've got to do. And we're not shy of quality, are we? You've got Owen Moxon, you've got Norwood, who's probably the best midfielder in the division, at being able to do that. You just got to have, it takes work, especially with a lot of new players. It takes a lot of work on training ground.
Should we just talk on the resilience of the side? So, if anyone's seen the Ollie Norwood post-match interview, question from John Kieran, potentially questioning the resilience, the mental sort of toughness of the team, and Ollie completely shuts that one down. Quotes the fact that I think towards the end of the season we came back from losing positions 6 or 7 times, I think it was, saying, "Look, that is not a problem at all." And I loved seeing him say that. That was a proper captain's sort of comment, and like, don't you question this team? We're fine, thanks very much. Love that.
Quite right, and all, and he was right to question it, because I know. Listen, I know Challoner's had a rant about Leyton Orient, and let's have it right. We were shit second half against Bradford, and we did seem to lose a bit of confidence. But to question us from a mentality point of view, I thought maybe. Like Noah said, maybe a bit harsh. There's a lot of new players in that team in terms of, of what's there. It's going to, we traditionally start season slow, and the reason we start season slow is it takes us time to click. And at the minute, we're not playing well and winning. So, once we do click, imagine how good we are going to be. But I don't think there's a problem mentality. I think maybe a little bit of confidence in certain individuals, but I don't think there's a mentality issue.
Yeah, top one. Okay, let's move on to man of the match, and then we'll just spend 5-10 minutes maybe just talking about what we're expecting from Wigan on Tuesday. The man of the match was given to Wootton, I think it was, wasn't it, for his performance in that second half. Agreed with that, guys, or would you give it somebody else?
No, I mean, yeah, it's a really hard one, to be honest. I mean, obviously people will say Norwood for the free kick, Jackie Diamond for constantly running, but until Wootton came on and Fevs came on, we weren't going to get anything out of that game, I felt. What the shift in momentum and everything when Wootton came on, and the way that he put himself about for the team, all day long for me.
Norwood for me. Not just for the free kick, obviously for the first goal as well, where I know obviously Wootton played a lovely ball and Wootton was fantastic, and it's easy to see why he got man of the match. But the work that Norwood did for that as well, and then that free kick, just play the noise again, Dan, that free kick. Danny, got the noise again going there.
Did you guys notice as well with the free kick? Because it was a bit of a weird one, because if you looked at it like not concentrating, it might have assumed...
Dan, yeah? I need to interrupt you. We need to play the sound again for Lee. Here we go. There you go, Lee.
You know which Corey had with that one?
Yeah.
Was he walking past his goal?
Go on, Dan. Sorry, mate.
No, but when you watch the free kick, it was quite interesting, because you might have not... It's one of them when you dread it. Actually, you've seen referees not give it because he thinks it's hit the crossbar and come down and come out the goal. And actually, if you watch it, Wootton's switched on and Wootton's made sure the ball has gone over the line as well. The rest of them are all thinking it actually has scored, but Wootton was the one that scored. If he hasn't scored, I'm making sure I'm putting it in the back of the net. But yeah, I mean, it's one of them ones, that referee we've had a few times. He's a bit of a weird one. He let things go. It's one of them. If we had that referee all the time in every game, I'd be quite happy, because he let things go on. There was a bit of rough and tumble at times, players on the floor, and he's like, didn't care, let the game play on. There was a point where there was a Burton player down, and I think Connolly down in our 6-yard box, and he didn't care. Just play the game. We weren't going to stop it. Yeah. And I'm happy with that.
Wasn't head injuries.
No, I'm happy with that type of refereeing. But the problem is, you go next week, you'll have one that'll blow because his bootlaces are undone.
Connolly should have held his head.
The incident that you're talking about. Sorry, the incident that you were talking about, though, when Connolly and that guy was down, as soon as the ball came down at like our right-hand side, and they realised that the ref wasn't going to stop it, both players jumped up and got back in position super quick. We're just like, shit.
Well, yeah, because Connolly was playing everyone on side, you see. So if he hadn't got up, we'd have been in real shit.
He could have held dead. You know what I mean? Get that ball, get that game stopped.
But yeah, he's one of them. I mean, I know he's a ref that we've not liked in the past, but I must admit, if we had him and he refereed like that every week, and the players then clicked on to it, I think we'd actually be a better team for it. Or football would be a better game for it, should we say? Because the bar was raised really high with him, but for physicality, and he weren't going to give away silly, stopping the game every 2 minutes for somebody just, stubbed their toenail or something like that.
I thought we should have been a bit louder as fans, because when there was a couple of incidents where someone in the crowd, I don't know, was got up tapping the watch, and he had that keeper moving on, and then there was one where he'd moved the ball forward, and the main stand obviously started. He's like, "No, back you go." You know what I mean? So we did play. It felt like we played to the credit. It felt like it could have been a homer if we'd have been on the ball a bit as fans. But yeah,
and the foul throws as well. As soon as we all shouted foul throw, he then blew for a foul throw. So yeah, in all credit, I know Mr. Stocksbridge usually gets a battering off us county fans, but I'd be quite happy if he refereed like that every week for us, because like I say, players will soon learn where the bar is, and we wouldn't be falling about our own feet at times.
Cool.
I can't go
Okay.
praising officials, Dan. That's gonna completely destroy my reputation. You know what I mean? If I start praising them, my God.
Okay, well, let's move on to Wigan anyway. We're 50 minutes in. So, EFL Cup second round tie against Wigan on Tuesday night. Are we thinking strong team, Dave, or are we thinking heavy rotation?
I personally would like to see a strong side because there's no pressure on this game. So I'd like him to field the strongest possible 11 that he would like to put out, and look at it in a case of, let's use this time to get the team gelling. But I don't think he will. I still think that he will make several changes, because on the flip side of that, there are a lot of others that do need minutes. So I'm thinking you're probably going to see maybe Fiorini and Bailey start. Does he change the keeper again?
Yeah,
don't know. But I think he'll definitely make the changes and try and get some minutes into Bailey and Fiorini, and basically then just turn around and say, right, well, if you still want to be here by next weekend when the window shuts and you're not being sent out on loan, then you give me a reason to keep you here. Because right now, is there actually one? I don't know.
I think Bailey was tidy when he came on against Burton. I thought he did all right. Fiorini will definitely start, because I think the club have already put an image out for Tuesday's game, and it's got Fiorini.
Yeah, they've put a picture, haven't they? And yeah.
So I don't know.
And usually that's a big indicator, isn't it?
Yeah. Do you guys know Brad Hills? Is that a 3-game suspension, and does that start next Saturday, or does that actually start Tuesday?
I actually don't know. Someone said to me it's 1 game, it's not violent conduct, but then it's a professional foul. So I'm not entirely sure. I don't know the rules anymore on this.
No.
How bad's that? But let's get let's get Google.
That's Google. But yeah, because like I say, Brad Hills, that'd be another one. I think there'll be changes. I expect obviously Lowe to start and Mothers Hill to start, as they only sort of got 35 minutes in on Saturday, so I expect them two to start. I think it's going to be a mixture, but I think these players, like, I think Ethan Pye could do with a break. I think Connolly could do with a break. I think Moxon could do with a break. Norwood has played, I think, 90 minutes so far this season in every game. So I think it's just one of them. I think some of the lads really deserve a break. And it's an opportunity then for some of the fringer players to show their mark on the team and stuff like that, and why they should be in it. But yeah, I expect changes with it. So yeah, what do you think, Jimmy?
Sorry.
No, you go. What's the ruling? What are we thinking, 3 or 1?
It says a Red County football results in an automatic 1-match ban as a minimum, with the length of suspension increasing based on the severity of the offence, such as dissent, 2-match, violent conduct, 3-match, or spitting, 6 matches. So professional foul, which is what it is, a single match ban is given for a foul that denies an obvious goal scoring opportunity.
Okay, so 1 game, and we're assuming that's going to be in the league as well, so it won't cover the cup. So knowing Dave, he'll probably make Brad play the cup game because he's going to miss the league game. Remember, we're playing Wolves under 21s as well on the following Tuesday, so it's very much Tuesday, Saturday. So I think he will be rotating the team. I'd love to see Bailey back in. Not convinced that Fiorini can man a midfield without Moxon and Norwood in the team. So one of them will have to play, I think. But I think it's just going to be a little bit of rotation, and we'll put all the big guns on the bench, because let's not forget, like, if we win this game, you're into the 3rd round and you've got potentially 20 Premier League sides available to play there.
You guarantee we're going to draw Watford away, though, don't you? You know that, don't you? We're going to draw Watford away. We always do.
Yeah, it'll be somebody shit, won't it? But if we lose it, mate, it'll be Wigan will end up playing Man United again and be like, oh shit, we had a chance to
That's
play
how
them.
it always works, isn't it? That we say this, we're not really bothered, and like I say, the team that actually knock us out end up playing a tie that we'd have all absolutely loved to have had.
Well, United have got to beat Grimsby first, though.
Well, I don't really fancy.
That's a good point. Yeah, a good point. Yeah,
Blundell Park.
Okay then. Well, I think we'll wrap it up on that one, guys. So massive thanks to our sponsors, as ever, Overpass Clothing and Steve, Jimmy from Overpass Clothing and Steve from Edgeley Conservative Club Coaches. Can't wait to be back next week. So we'll be reviewing the Wigan League game. Obviously, the boys on the Wednesday pod are going to be reviewing the Wigan EFL Cup game and potentially talking about the draw. I assume that will be done on Wednesday evening, I think.
Yeah.
So if we're in it, they'll be talking about that as well and other bits and bobs, including random shit of the week, which is always a good listen. So thank you to Dan, Dave, and Lee. And I'll see you again next week.
See you later.
See you later, guys. Bye.